Hello and welcome to another episode of the BOU Connects podcast. Here, we break down the complex world of economics, finance, and central banking into easy-to-digest, relatable conversations. My name is Pumla Nabatwa, and I'm your host. From sending money through mobile apps to paying bills online, digital payments are changing the way Ugandans handle money. But what does this mean for you and for me? And are we really ready for a cashless future? Here to help us unpack this conversation is Mr. 𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿. Mr. 𝐿𝐿𝐿 is in charge of financial inclusion here at the Bank of Uganda. And what that really means is that his job is to make financial services like banking, loans, payments accessible and affordable to all Ugandans regardless of socioeconomic status and location. Have I got that right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's really good to have you here, Alex.
Yeah, I'm glad to be on this episode of the BOU Connect podcast.
Yes.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. Are you ready to speak about digital financial services, digital payments?
Absolutely.
Yeah, now let's start from there. Because we hear these terms a lot, digital payments, e-financial services, and I get the feeling that sometimes people just say them because other people are saying them. So could you start by educating us all on what digital payments really means, and more importantly, why Ugandans are now choosing to use digital payments now?
Yeah, that's a very good question for the start. I think people use the words as a buzzword. It sounds fancy. Yeah. But let's think about how we normally make payments. Traditionally, yes. I go to a market, I have my notes and coins, what we call cash in most cases. I give it to the person selling the item and I get that item. Yes. But with the developments in technology, we are seeing a shift. And in all sectors, by the not only in finance or not only in payments, moving towards digital. Okay. Now, what that means in the case of payments is that you have the ability to make payments without necessarily carrying cash. Yeah. How does that happen? You must have the underlying cash, either on a bank account or in your mobile wallet, which we most times we call mobile money in our case. The second area is, why is it important? And we've seen people adopt that. And if I can give you a bit of statistics, as of December 2024, from the mobile money space, we had about 50 million mobile money accounts. Just coming down a bit to those who use it often, within 90 days, transacted both airtime or at least conducted a transaction. Those were 32 million accounts. Wow. Our population as of last year, census, was 46 million. So that tells you mentioned how people are moving away from cash. Now, why are people moving away? Digital payments is so convenient. Gone are the days when we would move to the banking hall. We do things at our comfort now. 2, it's safe. 3, it's affordable. Now, affordability is always a challenge, but look at it here. If I want to buy KFC and I have to leave from my home to go to KFC, pick it and go back home, it's more cheaper for me to order online, and it's just delivered at the comfort of my home. That's true. And you see all these ride-hailing companies now transporting things. It's part of the importance of digital payments.
Yeah. You know, when you say convenient, that I understand. And you've given me a reason. Whenever people talk about affordability, I usually struggle with how to, but you know, if you look at it in terms of how would you have done it previously, which is you still most likely need fuel or take a border maybe, or maybe walk there, but now that's time.
Yeah, that's time.
So yeah,
but also safety in terms of jumping onto a border.
That's
you know,
true.
you can use that time to make more money while your items are coming.
That's true. And then you eat nicely in the comfort of your home.
While making more money.
While making more money. To eat more KFC.
To use digital payments.
To use digital payments, that's true.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about mobile money. That's what we usually refer to. I know it's mobile wallet. What do we call it? But we usually talk about mobile money. So mobile money has now become like a wallet. Like we now have literally a wallet in our phones, because many of us are paying using our phones and mobile money. How has this changed how Ugandans are managing their business and their money?
Yeah, that's a very important point. And reflecting on when mobile money started about 15 years ago, reflecting on 2009, we only knew banking. But with mobile money coming on board, people realized that they can actually work with their money everywhere they go.
Yes.
You know, I don't need to carry cash. I just need to have some money on my mobile wallet. How it has transformed lives is that people now have the ability to move without cash. And businesses, more important, businesses have the ability to conduct their businesses without moving anywhere. You know, and also there's a study that was done that says when people pay electronically, they spend more. So businesses that are accepting mobile money payments or digital payments for that matter are able to receive more or sell more items compared to those that rely on cash. Because once I have money on my wallet, it's like I don't have a limit compared to if I'm carrying 10,000 and it's done.
And that's done.
So we've seen it transform many businesses in that way, that when you have a merchant code for that matter, you're able to sell more items compared to those that rely on cash. And when it gets over, people stop spending.
What does that mean for the consumer now? I know people who have decided not to go the route of e-payments because they're self-aware and they say, I'm not disciplined enough.
Yeah.
If I have cash, if my 10,000 gets finished, I stop spending.
Yeah.
But if I have unlimited access to this, then I'm going to keep spending and spending. What would you say to
Absolutely.
that?
You mentioned very well. We keep saying or telling people when you're spending, you spend with a plan. You know, it's not that when you have money, you have to just spend. But there are times when you go to do shopping and you realize that you needed to buy something, but the actual cash is not there. So there you run for mobile money as an option. To utilize in purchasing something which is important to you. It's not that when you have money, you just have to spend. For those that are still in discipline, maybe that is their coping mechanism in trying to be disciplined.
Yeah, so I think maybe we should be able to build some kind of inner discipline within us and know that, okay, this is what I need, but then also be aware that I might need something else. It's not that I'm overspending. It's just that I actually did need that. I might have forgotten it on the list. And then you can use it as an option for easy and convenient payments. But one of the things I've realized about e-payments that some people are worried about is safety. So how would you advise Ugandans and individuals to be able to protect themselves and still have confidence and trust in this payments?
In fact, that worry is not only for the individuals, even the central bank, in this case, Bank of Uganda. Issues around fraud erodes the trust that someone may have. You know, if I have my cash in the pocket, I'm only worried about someone coming to either beat me up and take the money. But with digital payments, you're actually in charge of your funds, which is on the account.
You are working bank.
Just an illustration, when you go to a bank, they'll ask for your ID to verify that you are Pumla. They'll also look at you first, check what is in the system before they make a payment after signing. Now, with a digital payment or a digital wallet, you are doing all that the bank does. Safety of your PIN is very paramount. You know, how you save your PIN. There are cases where you see people saving PIN as PIN on their phone.
Oh no.
You know? So you lose a phone, somebody accesses, is able to utilize the funds. Because we're a digital device, it doesn't recognize whether it's Alex or Pumla. It's the instructions that you give it. When you give it the right instruction, it accepts. So one of the most important things is guarding your device in itself, in terms of protecting yourself, for it not to be stolen. Then the second one is making sure that you have different ways of protecting your PIN, which is the personal identification number that is given to you.
Yes.
But we've also seen on the side of the providers, in some instances, doing more than one way of verification.
Yes.
You can either enter your PIN, then at transaction level, you have a one-time password or PIN that you again enter. That helps a lot.
Yes.
But overall, what I can say is that the most important for you as a consumer is to guard your credentials well, not to share with anyone. Yeah. We see mothers especially over trusting their children. And then later when they come to complain, the cameras will show that actually it was
your relative.
Your actual relative who came and picked. So you walk in shame saying, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't expect this to happen. So let's keep a PIN is your personal one. Even we advise people not to share with their spouses.
Their spouses as well. Yeah. What about those instances? I'm sure everybody knows, has a friend or a family member who has been caught off guard by people who are calling and saying, I'm from so-and-so, this telecom, or I'm from this bank, can you please, and then you can, well, in the moment, so this is what I don't understand. Yeah. In the moment when the conversation's up, when someone is replaying the conversation to you, you're like, how could you have sent that money? It doesn't make sense. But there must be a thought process of this person and actually the scammers that they must know about human beings for people to release their money. Yeah. I'm calling from here. Now we are going to switch off your phone. If you don't, you first put in your PIN and you send us the PIN, we'll help you on this side. Then by the time you realize what has happened, 500,000 has left your phone. It's gone, yeah. How can people protect themselves from
Unfortunately. I'll give you an example. That does not only apply to those that are probably less educated. It applies to all of us, including us who talk about them.
This is true.
I'll give you an example. Last weekend, I was at my daughter's school.
Yes.
Okay? I was supposed to make a payment. They had a sports day. I was supposed to make a payment for our dance wear. So I promised the dance teacher I'll bring the money the following day or send using mobile money. So I gave the money to my daughter to take to the dance teacher.
Yes.
And when I called the dance teacher to confirm if he had received the money, he didn't pick my call. Immediately after calling, somebody calls me and I say, oh, I've just sent my daughter with the money. No, I'm not around. Please send the money to my mobile. And he goes ahead to say, no, send it on this number. He reads for me. I said, I don't have a pen to write. Can you send on a text? He said, no, get somewhere. I need it. I decided to ask my wife to pick her phone and record the number.
Oh, my.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, what a
that
coincidence.
I was planning to send money and this gentleman calls me later. 1 minute after switching off, the gentleman calls again. I've not yet seen the money. Then I paused a bit and I said, okay, so this gentleman is not around today, yet I sent my daughter with the money.
Yes.
What a coincidence is that. So I walked to the class where the dance teacher was and confirmed he had got the money. Then on calling this gentleman, I asked the gentleman, so you said I sent you money. Yes, you sent to my number, I'm not around. What is it for? What were you sending the money for?
Yeah, and at that point you don't realize that he hasn't told you anything about the dance class.
Nothing.
But because for you in your head, you knew you had to send money to somebody.
Absolutely. What a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
So when I asked the gentleman, so but you said you're going to send the money, what were you sending it for? Then I said, but what is the money for then? That, okay, for school. Generally guessing around because I said I was at school, it was raining on a weekend. So these fraudsters are there. They are quite a number. But what the bank has done, even before talking about what someone can do, we've tried to create awareness over the past 4 years. Remember campaigns around Tom Ferrer, Better Steady. This has really reduced such calling. But also as a consumer, a provider would never call you to ask for your PIN.
True.
Never.
Never.
Or if they are to call, they would first inform customers that we are doing ABCD and make it in mass media. So what we advise consumers, when they call you, either switch off your phone or don't answer, or just cut off the person and call the provider yourself. Take an initiative.
Take an initiative.
You know, there are times when you receive a message initiating a withdrawal. If it finds you when you are sending money to someone, you can easily put in your PIN. So take that initiative as a consumer to verify first before you enter your PIN. Your PIN is personal.
Your PIN is personal. Yeah, I think personal responsibility and accountability needs to ring supreme before people start blaming other people. You need to take accountability.
It's very important.
Okay, so we also hear a lot about e-banking, but I find that many people don't know where to start when it comes to e-banking. Can you share with us what is the simplest way that someone can start or set up e-banking for the average everyday Ugandan trying to do even the simplest thing, like just, you know, what's the simplest thing you can do in e-banking? Make a payment, deposit money, withdraw money?
Sure. That's an interesting question. Think about having your bank on your phone as e-banking. Before, we used to walk to the banking hall to transact. If I want to send money, I go and fill forms to be able to send the money. If I want to put money on somebody's account, I needed to go to the banking hall. Now, with the emergence of technology, banks are quite happy, and some banks are going more digital. Because this has reduced the number. E-banking and agent banking has reduced the number of crowds in banking halls. We still see some customers who have doubts though. And an example of a customer putting money on near with an agent, then walking to the banking hall to confirm is the money really on my account? And that comes around trust. Can you trust the system? So they still do the same thing. You've already deposited. Why do you walk to go and verify? You have a message saying your account has been credited. So e-banking helps consumer do what they would ordinarily go and do in the banking hall, at the comfort of wherever they are. If I want to make issue any instruction, if I want to get a checkbook, for example, I can request online. If I want to make a transfer from my account to your account, I can do it online on my mobile phone, or either using an app or over the internet, the HTTPS, based on the credentials given to me by the bank that I use. How can a customer start their journey on e-banking? Of course, the first starting point, you must be a bank customer, meaning you must open up an account. To enjoy the services of e-banking given to you. So a customer needs to walk to any bank of their choice, the one they like or the one they have got good reviews about. Of course, all the banks are good, but go to one, fill in your forms. The banks will give you the details, which is very important depending on their requirements for opening up a bank account. And one of the services you'll opt for is e-banking. Then the bank will set you up. And you start enjoying the services. As simple as that.
So all you need is a bank account.
A bank account.
And an e-device, either a phone or a laptop. Or
any e-device to start the process. I think some study done found that people still want this personal touch. More especially for the old people. They still want to walk in and they see themselves being served, then walk out happy.
I think I've had that before.
But for the younger generation, we are seeing that changing. There's no need to go and waste time in the banking hall. You can call, you can WhatsApp. There are many ways you can get your issues sorted out. Unless if you must go to the banking hall. We've seen that reduce significantly.
Actually, when you say culture, that reminds me, I think I was speaking to a lady, she's retired, and she spends most of her time in her garden and with not so much human interaction. So I would always ask her, she lives quite far from town. And I'd always ask her, but you know you can do everything on your phone. And she told me, Pumla, me now that's my day out. I go and talk to people. I talk to people in the banking hall. I interact with the tellers. I go and see the manager, the relationship. I just go to talk to people.
That's true.
Which is the exact opposite of a generation, maybe the Gen Zs, who would like as minimal interaction with human beings as possible.
Except their immediate family.
Except their immediate families.
Absolutely, that's true.
Okay, so maybe now that we're on that route, Do you ever see a time or foresee a time when, as a country, we will go completely cashless?
That's an interesting question. But where I sit, and globally, really, we still say cash is the king. In this case, cash is the actual paper. Is still king. But where I see us moving is that in the next few decades, as we and you need to understand the structure of Uganda's population, really.
Yes.
The Gen Z is 16.7 or 17 years median population. That's a majority. So as they move, they're going to move away from things that disturb their minds, looking for cash. And we've seen it happen in our neighbor, Kenya. In Kenya, rarely, if you carry cash, it's a burden to you.
That's true.
You know, the culture has shifted from cash to mobile. And we are seeing it coming here as well. As culture changes, the Gen Zs are accepting more digital payments at the comfort of wherever they are. They will drive us who are old out of it. We may remain with our cash, but the Gen Zs will be transacting in using digital payments. And that's why I see us, give it 2-3 decades, really, things will be different. So we need to embrace rather than fight it. Just get used to it, that this is where we are going. And the central bank is also trying to make sure that the cost, if there, comes down such that people enjoy, just like how you carry notes and coins.
And I feel like the more pressure there is, the more demand there is for the service, then the more the authorities will, there is more pressure that is put on the authorities to reduce the cost, the burden, so that everybody can now transact more easily.
That's true, but also you see one of the things driving even the population is government itself. Think about tax payments. I am not sure if you can still go and pay in cash.
Actually,
you could,
this is true.
But
even
it has absolutely reduced.
Yeah, it has.
You know, you issue me a ticket. I don't really need to. I only need the PRN.
That's true.
And I just need the PRN, and either using my bank account or mobile, I am able to clear immediately. So that we are seeing that moving a lot.
That's true. And by the time government has moved really, then who are we as individuals? Even when we are paying the policemen a small thank you, we also did now use our phones. We don't have thank you, nothing else, just thank you. Okay, so let's talk about businesses. When you say cash is king, people think business. So many business owners now, especially small business owners, are now, actually both small and big, to medium and big, are now using digital payments for their transactions. How would you advise entrepreneurs in Uganda to manage digital payments more effectively?
Yeah, thank you for that good question. Let's go back to what I mentioned. One, the benefits of digital payments. To consumers, but also to businesses in terms of you being able to sell as a business, being able to sell more items, but also to save you on cost. Starting with, I remember 10 years ago, people used to walk from up country to come. Businesses used to travel by bus to come to Kampala to buy items and go back. Nowadays, you hardly find people traveling. And all that is credited to improvement in technology. I can make my order as a business person in Arua online or send the pictures of what I want using WhatsApp.